Hello, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take. Let's get started. What I'm going to be doing at the end of each weekend from the NFL is go over a headliner for each game and give some quick thoughts about the game overall. Let's get started with that Thursday football game to kick off the season between the Lions and the Chiefs. My headliner is Casey, we have a problem. Instead of Houston, we have a problem. KC, we have a problem. I was still leaning picking the Chiefs in this game until I saw that Travis Kelsey news of being out. And the reason why I chose the Lions in this game was because I knew specifically in the fourth quarter, into the final 6 minutes or so, when you need one of these receivers to step up and make a play, they couldn't do it. And that was the difference of the game, basically. As for the Lions, good for answering the call and living up to the hype on this one. If you were to lose this type of game, then, it'll be all doom and gloom like usual, but good for you guys winning the game. Okay, Panthers versus Falcons. Young looked young. Bryce Young in his debut looked like his height and size. Basically a small kid that looked like the moment was too big for him, with multiple turnovers and not being the most accurate, unlike what we saw at Bama. Luckily, it's only game one, so plenty of time to show improvement. Bengals versus Browns. Bengals got beat by a bunch of elves. Jamar Chase, star receiver for the Bengals, called the Browns elves before the game, and those group of elves dominated the Bengals. The Bengals' run defense once again struggled against the Browns' running game, which that I kind of expected to a degree, but what I did not expect was the Bengals, specifically Joe Burrow, passing for 82 yards. I knew since he missed a lot of camp, it was going to take time to gel, but it's going to take more time to gel than I even anticipated. Jags versus Colts. Jags starting fast. The Jags are already off to a fast start on offense, as expected with wide receiver Calvin Ridley back. The only bad thing on offense was the turnovers. Without them, the Jags could have scored 40 plus in this game. It'll be a fun team to watch for sure. Bucks versus Vikings. Vikings don't feel so lucky anymore. I said before the season started, the Vikings were not going to go 11-0 in the regular season in one possession games, and I was already right about that in week one against not the greatest team, nevertheless. Cousins can't have 3 turnovers in the game and expect to overcome their defense, which, even though Brian Flores is the new DC now, that defense still needs work. Titans versus Saints. First to score a touchdown won the game. This was a defensive battle, and the first team to score a touchdown was the one that won the game, which was the Saints. And in fact, it was the only touchdown that was scored in the game. I expect the Saints' offense to be better. As for the Titans, though, Tannehill, you cannot have 3 picks if you want to not get benched by Malik Willis, because I feel like Mike Vrabel will not be afraid to do that. 49ers versus Steelers. Buried in the gold mines. I thought the Steelers and Kenny Pickett would take the next step, and they would be way better than they were last year, or at least be competitive in this game, but they got destroyed and buried, and the 49ers just buried them in the ground for good measure and just, annihilated them. If you're a Steelers fan, this is not what you were hoping for, and now there's other key injuries like, starting defensive tackle Hayward, could be out for the season potentially, and Deontay Johnson, wide receiver of the Steelers, is out for who knows how long, so not a great start to the season for them. Cardinals versus Commanders. Arizona wins the battle for number 1 in the draft. These teams looked like they wanted Caleb Williams, in all honesty, and in the end, more talent is on Washington's side, and that's why they won it. I will say the Cardinals' defense surprised me a little bit and played better than I expected. But then again, same house scored for Washington, so we'll see how they look going forward. Texans versus Ravens. Ravens overcome slow start. The Ravens look like a team not only missing their star tight end Mark Andrews, but also look like a team that has a new offensive coordinator, and they're getting adjusted to a new offense. Luckily, the Texans are not that great, so it didn't cost them in this game, although there is more to worry about in the future with all the injuries that the Ravens stay, like Dobbins out for the year, torn Achilles, Marcus Williams out for who knows how long, Ryan Stanley, offensive lineman, out for who knows how long, so a couple injuries there to watch out for the Ravens. Packers versus Bears. Green Bay still owns Chicago. Despite Rodgers leaving, the Packers still own the Bears as of right now. Now, Jordan Love wasn't the most accurate of the ball, but he played a clean game, made the layup throws, which is good enough to win this game. Now, for Chicago, despite all the upgrades they made in free agency at the draft, they still look like a very bad defense. And it appears Justin Fields is not good. Is not going to be, as of right now, he's not a good pocket passing QB. Let's just be frank. He's not a good pocket passing QB at this point, which was what you were hoping that he would improve on this offseason. Now, luckily, there's still 16 more games to improve on that, but that's not a good sign so far, because you just can't be running around all over trying to be spectacular and think that's good enough, because it's not. Raiders versus Broncos. Hackett gone, still losing. Once again, the Broncos lose in a low-scoring game against a team at home they should have beaten. If things don't get better quickly for the Broncos, then the Wilson Payton relationship may not last long. Eagles versus Patriots. Brady Day ruined. Tom Brady was celebrated before the game and all that, and then the Patriots go down 16-0 early in the game. Luckily, they came back to make it interesting, but the way to suck the energy out of that arena and all that is just it's too bad they didn't deliver in the clutch like Brady did for the Patriots so many times throughout his career. Dolphins versus Chargers. Chargers still malfunctioning. After the way the season ended last season, especially for the defense, you think with all the players they have on defense, like Joey Bosa and J.C. Jackson and Derwin James and all, you think they would play better. Yes, Miami's explosive offense, but there's no reason to have Tyreek go over 200 yards in the Miami offense to go over 500 yards. Just no reason for that whatsoever. Staley was on a hot seat coming in, and now it's even warmer after this game. Rams versus Seahawks. Oh my gosh, Rams. That was the reaction for Geno Smith when Aaron Donald was coming right at him for a sack during the game at one point. I did not expect the Rams to look good with no Cooper Kupp, although I knew the receiver Puka Nacua, the rookie from BYU, was the real deal. And, not only no Kupp, but a team that has so many young players and it's a bunch of no ones besides Stafford Darnold. So good for them. And for the Seahawks, it's not good for you because not only did you lose that game, but you have some offensive line issues. Not just because of injuries, but also just, ineptitude in general. Like you got to figure that part out, because Geno Smith with a bad offensive line ain't gonna get you anywhere. Cowboys versus Giants. The big D was on display. The defense for the Cowboys didn't miss a beat and picked up right where they left off last year, making big plays to help out the offense. Now, the Cowboys aren't going to get 4+ turnovers every game, but if they can stop the run and just be consistent on defense, whether that's getting sacks or tackle for losses or whatever, or maybe one pick a game, whatever, then Dak just needs to do his part. Now for the big Monday Night Football game between the Bills and Jets. The curse is alive in Gotham City. The Jets always feel cursed, and this was no different last night as Rodgers had a season-ending injury. Luckily, the football gods were nice enough to let the Jets win the game. As far as the season expectations go, that all gets thrown out the window. One silver lining for the Jets is that you get to keep your first-round pick next year, and you're going to need it, so that's good for you. And then, quick note on Josh Allen. Once again, he makes a lot of good plays, but the turnovers were still an issue from last year that's carried over this year, especially against the Jets is one of the defenses he plays the worst against. But still, that turnover thing has to be cleaned up if the Bills are going to go anywhere this year. Okay, so thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel to learn about me. Either tomorrow or next day, I'll go over my Week 2 NFL predictions, and in a couple days, go over my Week 3 college football predictions. So thank you very much, and you all have a wonderful day.